Home alone in 3 a.m. I lived with my parents M72 and F54 and my two daughters F7 and F5. We lived in a nice house in the countryside. My pops had finally had enough of the small town crimes and decided to move us back to the countryside. He wants the girls to have space to run around and give them their own treehouse. He also had brought us for dogs and making sure that the yard is fenced all around so no creatures doesn't walk in or out of our yard while keeping the kids safe. My kids' father had came to get the girls this weekend as my pops and my mom went to town for his health since he gotten sick. The dogs were keeping me company as I enjoy being home alone during the day. It just feels the same either my parents and my daughters are here or not as long as I had enjoyed the weekend. I didn't have work at the time and I was getting my sleep in as usual. The kids does call my phone just to chat with me and asking about the dogs more than me. I don't mind about them asking about the dogs as long as I'm able to hear from them. I went to sleep around 11 p.m. right after I finished the anime series. All of the doors and windows were locked. The dogs were inside the house either doing their thing or sleeping. I was sleeping good until I heard a bark going on downstairs. I had one of the dogs with me upstairs lifting her head up to hear the other dog barking. I had grabbed my Kanata over the stand and went downstairs with the dog. As I was creeping downstairs, the other two dogs started to bark. My hand had gripped the Kanata as I walked slowly. My foot had touched the floor and walked towards my dogs. I stand behind them and noticed that the doorknob was twisting left and right. At first, it doesn't look like something was on the other side until I see something tall over the back door window. The curtains were preventing whatever it was looking through the windows, but it looks completely off. The dogs had stopped barking for a moment and standing their ground to protect me. The fur on their necks were high as their teeth were showing. My eyes looked at the clock on the wall and sees that it's 3 a.m. Then my eyes loved to the figure outside of my back door. I had my phone in my robe pocket to check the cameras. Good thing that my brothers had installed the cameras around the house along with the ring on both front and back doors. As I backed myself to the stairs to take a seat, one of the dogs had moved to sit behind me and watched upstairs. I had unlocked my phone to get on Ring to see who or what is clearly out there. My phone screen was showing something tall, black and skinny figure trying to get into the house. It was wearing some hat that was covering its face. The arms were thin and long, but the fingers were even longer than the whole arm itself. The way its fingers were bending looked disgusting, not the same way a human's hand bend. The midsection was moving like a video game character, but the way it inhales freaks me out. The legs were deformed so badly that it looks impossible to stand, run, jump, or anything that a human could do. Then I heard the thing speaking in my oldest's voice, "Mama, can you let me and Leia in?" I stayed silent as I started to record the thing talking. My hands were a bit shaky when I started to record. The thing starts speaking again with my oldest's voice. "Mama, Daddy is outside waiting for you to open the door." Nothing. I stayed silent again as I watched in horror. The thing switched over to my youngest's voice. "Mommy, I am so sleepy. Please let us in so Daddy could go back to his car." Not one sound had came out of my voice. Could hear myself screaming in fear in my mind. The thing continued talking in my youngest voice. "Mommy, please let us in. We're so sleepy. Please let us in now." The thing had switched over to my pop's voice. "Litbit, let us in right now. You can't let us stay outside all night without anything happening to us." My lower jaw had dropped as it sounds like my pop's. The thing keeps talking in my pop's voice. "Why aren't you up to open up the door for us? Please let us inside of our home." The thing switched over to my mom's voice. "Baby girl, please don't ignore us forever and let us in. We're at the door waiting for you to open it." My body had chills around as my heart drops to my stomach. The thing speaks in my mom's voice. "Come on now. Let us inside of our home. We are so tired that we need to get in bed." I had shaken my head no as tears were released slowly down on my cheeks. Then the thing had switched over to my kid's father's voice. "It's your parents and our kids at the door. I'm here with them as well. They say they are tired and need some sleep now." The things started to scream so loudly that the dogs were trying their best not to bark at the screaming. The screaming was like a bloody murder scream as it continues on for hours, using everyone else's voice combined saying different things. I was so scared to move from my spot as it screams more loudly. I wasn't sure how long it was screaming until 5 a.m. had reached the clock. The whole household went quiet. The thing finally decides to leave the doorsteps and leapt over the fence. I watched it walking away with its disgusting. I went back to my room and lay still in bed. The 3 dogs were sleeping on the floor of my room while the other stays awake to make sure I'm okay. I had went back to when I feel safe enough to get some sleep at 7 a.m. My parents had made it home by 9 a.m. and they were happy to be home. My pops had went over to my room to check up on me and noticed how tired I was when he came in. "You must have seen that video too?" he asked. My mind was blank for a minute until he shows me the footage of what happened at 3 a.m. My body had run cold all over again as he realized that I watching the same thing. "I don't know what it is, but I am so glad that you didn't respond or open the door," my pops said. "Yeah, I was glad that I didn't do it at all. It was strange that it was copying your voice, Mom's voice, the kid's voice, and my kid's father's voice in that video," I said. "If I had ever opened or responded to that last night, the dogs and I would have been torn into parts and everything will be a bloody mess. The kids and my ex would have been in danger if that thing pretends to be me while hiding in the house. Same thing for my parents. If I ever opened that door, I would be the first one dead." Thank you for watching. Subscribe and follow my other socials.